Let's get
No,
to
you.
Fernum Schnavitz. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you can. You can talk about. I think you can. You can't talk about
I'm not going
how.
to talk about taking a bump.
Well, you can't tell. You can't tell me who can work and who can't work. Because there's a difference between working and doing fucking flips.
I could tell you who entertained me as a
See,
fan. I have the right to tell you that.
yeah, but I'm not. I'm not. That's not. That wasn't what I didn't categorize that. And say anything about who entertains you. You can't tell me who can work and who can't work.
Like, who's a good worker, who's not a good worker. Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't know
because
because unless I'm in the ring with somebody, I don't think I'd ever know that. Who's
I. But
easy to
but
work with?
that's
Who? Yeah.
there's people that have made uh, a living that's all over that Dave Meltzer. That's we'll tell if somebody can work or not work, and he's this and he's that. One of the funniest things while watching this, and we touched on it a little bit on the show, but I just sat there and I laughed to myself because my wife looked over at me at one point. She goes, "Would you ever go back?" I said, "No." I said, I said that's a different part of my life. I said, I'll go back and see Paul and go. I said I would do if Paul needed me for something. I said I would do it. I said if they had a project or something like that I found entertaining or something I'd want to do. I said. She said, but not in the ring. I said, fuck no.
No.
And then I laughed and I said, babe, I said, you know I'm 65, right? She said, yeah. And then I said to her, I said, that all that shit that Logan Paul said, his rebuttal, his heel rebuttal. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I never really thought about it at the point of that he actually took the time to.
Disrobe.
You're 65 years old. Somebody thinks you're gonna fucking come in and fight for the U.S. title. Like,
You were challenged to a Muay Thai death match too this
I
year.
know.
I
I'm just
remember.
saying that. Do you think this? Do you think that Logan Paul, when he's 65 years old, that he will be thought of as somebody that might come down at SmackDown and have something to do with one of their
Yeah.
talents? No.
Hmm.
So to me, it's just like, how can I possibly be bitter? I just I threw some chum in the water. You hit it. I'm 65. It's
Get it?
and my point was made. I'm not retracting from the fact that you know. And I said from the boys, he takes it as I was saying it like gutturally from my loins. I don't give a fuck what he gets paid. It doesn't take money out of my pocket.
Understood.
Yeah.
Fernum Schnavitz is asking you. He says he's recently watched a YouTube video that said you held the WWF World title for 358 consecutive days. Were you aware that Diesel is the longest reigning champion of the entire 90s? I say Diesel is the greatest champ of the 90s, not the worst. You are aware of that because you've said it here, right? Is 358 accurate?
I just know I'm the longest reigning champion in the 90s, which was deemed the most profitable and successful era in pro wrestling. So,
Very good. Live audience, let's get some questions here to wrap us up.
God, if I was a market, I could really run with some of this shit.
About the
Just
90s
anything.
gimmick?
Just,
Yeah.
you can fucking toot all kind of shit.
There you are, 358 Diesel. Brett behind you at 294. Oh, 1 day less. Ultimate Warrior at 293. Hogan at 248. 248. This is 90s. This is just 90s. Hogan not counting his 80s run. 80s title reign.